Thank you for joining Wars of the Roses. And this is Three Circles of Reflection, a study in self-analysis by Allegro, an article taken from Rosicrucian Digest, Volume 19, Number 7, August 1941. Three Circles of Reflection, a study in self-analysis by Allegro. Above the mirror-like pool of self-knowledge, we suspend our consciousness by means of meditation. Like a motionless, poised butterfly, we seek to look down into the dimly lighted depths and attempt to know the self. It is thus we learn. We find that an ancient admonishment still points out its eternal verity, that the temple at Delphi shadows forth the truth. We should never forget nor ignore the lesson so beautifully portrayed by the sundial. The reflection which we behold in the pool is multiple in its manifestation. Each and every mood, desire, and action of our being colors and changes our interpretation of the image reflected. But generally speaking, we can separate its phases into three great classifications. They are, namely, the physical, the mental, and the psychic. Although this statement is very old, and though it has been repeated through many ages, it is yet a great field for thought. In the field of the physical, the reflection reveals to us many things about ourselves by three outstanding sets of impressions. These are shown by observation of the facial features, by the posture of the body in its moments of repose, and by the characteristic physical movement. The face is a most sensitive scroll in which each feature is surely molded by one's every thought, aspiration, and emotion into an immutable record. Let us look well, therefore, as we should, at this facial page, and alter our actions, thoughts, and ambitions to correct its contour. The relaxed posture of our bodies, if carefully watched, will give us keys to some of our outstanding characteristics. The humped shoulders and the slumped body are telltale indications of qualities we do not like to have discussed, but other and better habits of posture are indicative of better attributes. So as we behold the reflected posture, let us improve it all we can. Then clearly, in contradistinction to our posture we pose, we see the reflected picture of our movements. Lack of free bodily motion, sudden jerky, nervous motions, and absence of free, graceful, unhampered action have an important message for us in helping us to really know ourselves. There are many other items of manifestation in the physical world or mundane plane which are knowledge reflectors, evident physical things which affect any or all of the physical senses until their very multiplicity is confusing to our consciousness. However, any one of them, when it is segregated from the rest and meditated upon, is filled with light which helps to solve our mystery. Again, within the physical circle, we see the mental sphere. This sphere displays more revelations of the self within. It too shows its manifestations through three principal channels. These may be set down as first, thought, second, speech, and third, adaptability. In the first, thought is reflected and emphasized in a double mirror, being mirrored back and more fully shown by action following and resulting from the thought. This may become apparent to our consciousness in many hundreds of ways, revealing desires, emotions, and passions to be more fully accounted for by karmic lessons. In the second, speech is one of the many secondary reflections following the process of thought. From our earliest words spoken down to our very last utterance, speech gives either or both direct and indirect indication of the inner nature of our being. Speech gives us daily communication with our fellows. Speech brings us our contact with training in life, in school, in college, in all of our contacts of experience. Speech by its constructive or destructive use helps to build or to raise our incarnation structures. Let us earnestly sit in judgment of our own speech and of the impulses prompting our speech. Let us do this often, then let us start at once to do some reconstruction. And let us continue that process as long as we are entrusted with the consciousness to do it. The third phase of the mental world, as it is reflected, may be described by the term adaptability. Adaptability is apparently on the borderline approaching the psychic universe, but in the observed and studied and watched over unto ourselves a great and beneficial quantity of this reflection. Looking deeply once more into the silvery image of our reflected manifestation, we find there the third picture portrayed. At first it appears hazy and dim in its varying outline, but if we give it our utmost in concentration, it very soon grows more plain. Eventually it will surpass and supersede the first two image manifestations. It is the psychic reflection which, while infinitely harder to perceive, will yield to our efforts the multi-jeweled passkey of self-mastery if we attain it through trials of pain and patience. This psychic reflection, however, leaves its marks, signs and symbols to be interpreted just as indelibly as, if not more clearly than, the lesson pictures or shadows of the physical and the mental. It is shadowed forth in environment, in so-called exoteric human response and in esoteric response. Of these, environment is the most evident. It reflects the mental attitude and offers hints as to the stage of progress attained. The environment may be that created by the progressing student, or it may be that to which he or she is particularly attracted. The creation, of course, reflects much of its creator. We may easily judge our comparative progress by those things which attract and hold our attentions and our desires. This is another form of reflection. Environment in this sense must not be completely eliminated from our occasional consideration. Human response, the reaction of other human beings to the unspoken thoughts of our consciousness and their response to our physical actions, is perhaps also to be classified as a part of the element of environment. In itself and of itself, it points out forcibly the outstanding features of our physical, mental and psychic being. Sometimes this is difficult to discern, but when once discovered and fully realized, it can, if we permit it, give us a great new and fuller understanding of ourselves. There is also another response to the reflection from within, which may be termed esoteric response. It is most subtle and vague to the outer consciousness. Although inexpressible in mere words, the way pointed out through these impressions leads definitely through all of the problems of progress to heights which would never otherwise be attainable. All of the other manifestations of our reflection eventually lead or revert to this one key. Therefore, we should always be alert to sense it. Sometimes the reflection of our individual reflection is too close to us to be fully appreciated. This is illustrated when we stand too near to a great work of art to interpret the full portrayal. Distance lends clarity. If this is our problem, let us behold ourselves in the actions of others. This should not be in a comparative sense, but to reconstruct our own actions for analysis and improvement. May we always seek profound peace by inward reflection, which will help us to abide by the ancient injunction above the temple door, which still reads, "Know thyself." Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to share, like, subscribe, and comment. And if you can please consider donating to Wars of the Roses, links to PayPal and Patreon are in the description. Thank you so very much.